Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So for this tutorial I'm going to need a pair of scissors, a 4mm hook, and yarn. I'm using a type called Seagull and it's 4-ply, so it's a very thin strand, so I'll be doubling my strands. So what you're going to do is you're going to start by making a slip knot, and this is how I do mine. And pull. Then you're going to make a chain, and this chain, we are working from up going down, so you're going to make a chain, and this chain should be let me give an example, your bust area. So for your measurement, you're going to get your bust area and you're going to divide it by, let's say, 3/4. You're going to get your bust measurement, and then you're going to use 3/4 of that measurement for the beginning, because we're going to start from the neck going downward, so we'll be making increases on the sides. So you're going to make a chain that is 3/4 of your bust area. I think that's the easiest way I can explain it, or you can measure it yourself and then you just make a chain while you're putting it on your neck and see how long it is. So when you're done with that, you're going to just go back through that chain that you've made with single crochets, which is just yarn, you don't yarn over, sorry, which is just going to that and then pull through and then pull through the two, just like that. So you're going to do that until you get to the very end of your chain, and once you get to the end, I'm going to show you what to do next. So as you can see, this is how it looks like, and what we are going to do next is, after making your single crochets, you're going to chain 4 and you're going to turn your work around. This is where we're going to start our mesh pattern. You're going to skip 1, go into the next stitch with a double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, go into the next stitch with a double crochet, chain 1, and you're going to do this until you get to the very end. So you'll just keep chaining 1, skip 1 stitch, going to the next, chain 1, skip 1 stitch, going to the next, until you get to the very end. So here I'm putting my very last double crochet, and when you're done with that, you're just going to chain 4, and this is where we're going to begin our increases. So you're going to chain 4, turn your work around, and on that very first double crochet where we made our double crochet, you're going to put a double crochet also into that. Sorry, my thing was out of focus, but you're going to put the 2 double crochets on the very first double crochet, and then you're going to continue with double crochets, chain 1, double crochets, chain 1, until you get to the very end. So when you get to the end, I'm going to show you what to do next. So here I'm at the end. Remember we made chain 4, so you're going to skip 1 stitch, and on the 3rd stitch of that chain 4 you're going to put 2 double crochets. So here we'll have 2 increases on either side of our stitch. Then you're going to chain 4, and then you're going to turn your work around, and then in every beginning, like every chain, the very first double crochet that you've made, you're going to go into that with a double crochet. You're going to chain 4 double crochet at the end, then you're going to put 1 double crochet, chain 1, 1 double crochet, and then when you get to the very other side of that chain, I hope I'm making sense, we begin with double crochet, we chain 4 2 double crochets, then we continue throughout the remaining stitches with a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1. Then when you get to the very end, you're going to put 2 double crochets on the 3rd stitch of your chain 4. So you just keep repeating this same pattern until you get to the length of which you want your top to be. So for me, I made 18 rows for this top. It's more of like a halter top. So if you're making like a mesh halter top, you can just stop here and then make the strings. But what I did was I made 18 rows for me, and if you want it longer or shorter, just increase or decrease the number of rows that you want. For me, I made 18 rows, and I made sure that the back part doesn't touch, like it doesn't, when I'm putting it on, it's not tight, like it doesn't touch like this since it stretches. So here we're going to work on the top part, where and on the neck part of like where our neck area is going to be for the top. So you're going to grab your yarn after cutting it at the end of this whole halter top. You're going to attach it on one corner of your and after attaching it, you're going to make a chain, and this chain is going to be the same length as, let's say if you began with a chain of 15, so this chain that you're going to make here is going to be 15, so it has to like be of the same length. If you made 20, this chain has to be 20, and this is where we're going to begin making the hood area over our top. So you're going to make that chain, and it has to match the exact number of chains that you had in the very beginning of this top. So here I'm done with my chain, and when I align it, it's literally the same length. So what I'll do next is I'm just going to attach it right there, and I'm going to start making my mesh area, which is chain 4, and I'm going to skip one stitch, going to the next with a double crochet, skip one, going to the next stitch with a double crochet, and I'm going to do this throughout this whole chain. Like I'm going to go around the very beginning of our neck area and then the back, like the chain that we made at the back that is going to be on the back side. So that's basically it. So I'll meet you when you reached the area. Basically, even with the chain, when you're making your double crochets, make sure that you're going to put the first double crochet, you're going to chain one, and then you're going to skip one stitch on that chain that you made, going to the next, like that. It's just going to be a repetitive pattern. Skip one, going to the next, skip one, going to the next. As you can see here, you skip one, you go into the next stitch with a double crochet, chain one, skip one, going to the next with a double crochet, and then I'll meet you at the very end of this stitch of this row. So as you can see here, I'm at the very end, and I'm attaching my very last double crochet and chain one, and I'm going to go, since we started with chain 4, I'm going to go on the third stitch of our chain 4 that we made, the third one, and I'm going to end it with a slip stitch. So after this, what we're going to start doing, we're going to increase on the side, so you can count all the stitches and then you divide it by 2. And if it's not, like, let's say if you have 23, you're just going to divide 22 and then you're going to do 12 12. You're going to ignore that very one stitch. But if you have an even number, you're going to use it. So this is where we're going to start by increasing. You're going to chain 4, turn your work around. You're going to, on that very stitch where our chain 4 began, you're going to go into it with a double crochet. Then you're going to gain chain 1 and then go into the next stitch with 2 double crochets. That's how going to be our first increase. Our increase for this row. We're going to do 2 increases on this side, and then on the other side where you made your half, you're going to also make 2 increases, like in different stitches. For example, if you had 12 12 as your half, on the very first you're going to do the increase, and then on the other side you're going to choose the 11th stitch and the 12th stitch, that's where you're going to do your increases. So you're going to do 2 increases on both sides. I hope that makes much more sense. So on this other side you're going to do 2 increases. Like I said, if you made maybe a chain of 20 and then the double is 40, you're going to divide that by 2, and then you're going to get the even number and the odd number. Like let's say if it's 20, you're going to choose 19 and 20 for your increases, and we're going to do this increase. It's going to be just repetitive, so when you finish this row of increases, I'm going to show you what I did next, and this is going to be a repetitive for about 8 rows. So here is where it's going to be different, and it's going to be what we're going to be doing. It's like a general thing that we will do for all the other rows. So you're going to go on the third stitch of your chain 4 with a slip stitch to just end your row, and then you're going to chain 4. So here is where it's going to be different, and it's going to be, you're going to go into the second increase, that the first increase that we made. Okay, let me give an example. So like here we have 2 stitches on 2 different, like, okay, 2 stitches. So you're going to go into the middle stitches of the increase. That's where you're going to put 2. That's where you're going to make your increases, because our increases we're doing 4. I don't know if I'm making sense, but when you have 4, you're going to go into the middle part. That's where you're going to put your increases, and you're going to keep repeating this whole procedure. When you get to where you made an increase, you're going to ignore the first. You're going to go into the next stitches. There can be no stitches. That's where you're going to put your increases. So you're going to do this for about 8 rows, and after that, I don't think I really showed what I did next, but after making those increases for the 8 rows, you can make 8 or 10, but I would suggest you make 8 rows of increases, and then after that you're just going to make 8 normal rows. Sorry, after making those 8 increases, you're going to make normal rows with no increases whatsoever. So for the normal rows that you're going to make, it's going to depend on how long you want your hood to go. If you want it like to cover close to your face, you just make more rows. I know when you put it, it's going to look like, when you finish the whole tutorial, it's going to look like a big V, but when you put it on and just style it, it will come out like a very good hoodie. So it will be like a good mesh hoodie. So basically I would suggest, like, after the 8 rows of increases, you can either make 6 normal rows, 7 normal rows, 8 normal rows, depending on how you want the coverage to be over your head. So for this tutorial, basically after this 8 chains, sorry, after making the 8 rows, as you can see here, I'm done. And I know the camera doesn't cover, but you can see on the side it's a little bit bigger and longer. I think it's even longer. From what I made was longer than my actual top. The number of rows I made was longer than my top. So I'd suggest you increase for full coverage, to have the full coverage over your head area. You make normal rows, 6, 7, just you increase the number of normal rows that you're going to make. I really hope I'm making sense. I know the hood area is going to have a very big V shape, and it's going to look a bit confusing, but once you put it on and style it, it will definitely make more sense. I think I'll add a simple video at the end on how I did it. I know the lighting is not perfect, but I'm going to attach the video at the end and then on how I did it. So after that, once you're done with this whole procedure of making the hood part and the top area, you're going to make a chain of about I'll suggest making a chain of 100, chain of 100 stitches like I did here. It's a very long chain, and you're just going to attach it at the top on the middle area and just do a crossover And this crossover, if you're making it for yourself, you can just either do it on top of the hoodie or just at the back. Or if you're making it for a client, they will just choose what they want. But this is basically it for the tutorial. Once you're done with the chain, you're just going to attach it at the back, and then that's it. I'm trying to make a dress also. I'm trying to make a dress, like a hoodie dress with like the down area. But once I'm done with it, maybe once I am done making it and I see that it makes sense, I will definitely make the tutorial for it. So, but for this tutorial, this is just it. I know the hood area looks a bit weird, but once you put it on, it will definitely make more sense when you put it on for yourself. So thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this video.